Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 5 of the anime series Arslan Senki TV, Fuujin Ranbu, continuing on with another pretty kick-ass episode, I have to say. And, it was one of those things where there was just one minor predictable element that comes at the very end of the episode, and it's one that I was already predicting going back to the previous episode with the debut of the character of Shagad, Narcissus' old buddy. And while this was a predictable element that he would be this sort of dirtbag, wolf in sheep's clothing in a sense, I really love, one of my favorite things about this series is the characterization and the human equation in the dynamics between its characters, most notably in this case Narcissus and this old friend Shagad. Here are two people who really grew and evolved further beyond what they would have expected of each other, some for better, some for worse. In the case of Narcissus, definitely for the better, aligning himself with Arslan and Arslan's cause, and Shagad not so much, aligning himself with the pirates, filling his pockets while allowing the pirates to have information that they could take the utmost, sort of exploitation of the goods and things of that sort that were moving in and out of Gilan. And it's just highly intriguing, and I love the portrayal of these characters. Even though, Narcissus himself, he does skirt the line of being an almost Sherlock Holmes level strategist, but there are people who are genuinely gifted along those lines, having a high intellect or having a talent to play an instrument like Giev and be personable, or as Arslan, having this youthful optimism and this compassion for people, and the list goes on. Ferengis with the bow and arrow and all that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody has their talent, and everybody has something that, there's a level of pathos in this series, in the relatability of some of the characters. And it's through that relatability, through that, being able to kind of empathize and put yourself in the place of these characters in a very relatable scenario, that's why we champion them. That's why we have our fists pumping the air when Daryun opens a can of whoop ass on pirates and is taking them out, and really, has them running scared and everything like that. A guy like Raze, who was just introduced in the previous episode, and here he is. They're going to be electing him the new viceroy of Gilan and everything like that, because they have effectively just ousted the hell out of Pelagius. And I was dying when, Narcissus is basically like the Ferengis, and of course Jeswant, he's like, I have something to ask of you both. And they go undercover, they're in disguise, and you have Ferengis trying to be all pimp and like, drink more, trying to get basically Pelagius completely caught off guard and fit-chased, if you will, to keep him occupied so that Giev can go and look for the documents they need, which subsequently he had just told a servant girl to go to the secret room and hide them and everything like that. She runs right headlong into, of course, Giev, who gets these documents. But seeing Jeswant being the page boy and Ferengis ordering him to fan Pelagius and everything like that, his reaction, I was just dying with that, having Jeswant in that position. But man, are they effective. They hand this guy his ass for all of his unadulterated, exploitation. That seems to be the theme. Between the pirates, there's exploitation. With this guy Pelagius, there's exploitation. With Shagad, there's exploitation. It's, all for one for all, and every man for himself, as the Three Stooges were once known to say. But they take the guy down, man, and it's like, again, fist-pumping level, because you are championing Arslan and his posse in this cause. We've grown and evolved with them as much as they themselves have grown and evolved, from meeting to coming together and really banding, like a band of brothers and sisters, because, of course, we have Elam, Ferengis, Alfred, everything like that. Everyone involved is an honorable, noble character that you want to be able to aspire toward, or you can, sort of look up to in the way they carry themselves, their morals, their demeanor, their honorability, and all that kind of stuff. And seeing that prevail especially coming after the clamping down of Andragoras and his basically eschewing his own son, telling him don't come back without that 50,000 troops. I mean, it's madness. It's utter madness that he would, treat his child, who may or may not, and likely is not his own blood, but still is in the position of, princely nature within the kingdom of Pars. It's just absolute madness to me what Andragoras has done, and to see the unity continues with these characters. That's, nth degree continuing on with that idea of their being relatable and there being a group to aspire toward. And again, seeing how they took down Pelagius, seeing how they are going to take an honorable character, someone who is very befitting of the respect and honor that is sort of necessitated for a position of something as high as viceroy in this town of Gilan. To have Graze be the guy, he is the best guy. And I was really, really afraid that they were actually going to hand it over to Shagad. But then with the falling out between Shagad and Narcissus, they're butting heads and coming to that realization that we're two different people. Now, again, that evolution of their characters, they've both come so far and so long away, and they've moved so far distant from the people they both knew each other as in their previous sort of life. And to see Narcissus is not going to suffer fools gladly. He's just going to move on. He may be disappointed, but he's going to move on. And their whole plan to basically manipulate the tides, to lead the pirates who they were expecting to show up at the back door, even though they weren't told, they weren't ordered to, by, as I say again, Shagad, who was leading them and everything like that, to have them basically stuck out. They couldn't get into the inner rim of Gilan, and they're dealing with the currents and tide flow and all that kind of stuff that's leading them astray from where they're trying to go. Seeing Radze and his people going after them, and of course Daryun coming in and taking down the pirate leader. It's just so satisfying, again, especially after the table flip moment, the just aggravating moment of Andragoras sending Arslan packing. And here are these great tier moments, these tentpole moments in this series where Arslan succeeds. Arslan's people succeed by unifying and working together. Is their success attained? And it's so satisfying to see. And yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say about the story proper. I was shocked, though, after the the sort of scenes after the credits, the post-credits scenes, where effectively Giscard has now set up the potential and tentative assassination of his own brother. And the people he is going to, put the nail in the coffin of, he's setting them up. We have, of course, the blind girl that Silver Mask was all the rage about and really had me, sort of fantasizing of what might have been if, Heramis had made different choices and hadn't been so out for blood and out for vengeance. With this girl, she's going to be burned at the stake. We leave off with this cliffhanger, as well as Atole, her and her guards being basically chained and put in irons because they're going to be the fall characters, the patsies. Again, just as aggravating and table flip mode, sort of orienting as Andragoras eschewing his son, sending him into exile, and promising him never to return again unless he amasses so many troops to take back Ecbatana for the sake of Pars. For a split second, I gotta add, too, with the pirates, with the numbers of the pirates, I almost started wondering if maybe they were going to force, I know Arslan's against the slavery thing, as he should be, but I mean, I was almost wondering if they were going to force or try to blackmail the pirates and their numbers to become part of the troops that would go back to Andragoras and say, here, Pop, But man, just a fantastic episode once again. And I can't wait to see what happens next. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of episode 5 of Arslan Senki TV, Fuujin Ranbu. If you've seen it as well, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, whether you're familiar or not with the story, of course, if you are, please post no spoilers. But how do you like the translation thus far? Has anything been skipped or edited or moved around or anything along those lines? And do you think they are, well and truly keeping to the nature of the origin story and the origin materials that this is based on? And if you're not familiar with any of that stuff, just let me know what you thought of the episode overall. Love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Love having that conversation. And so yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.